Vegas Circle with Paki and Chris, and today in the circle we're gonna welcome a friend to the room, Rob Brown from Rob Brown Fitness.
What's going on,
one
Rob?
of the top fitness companies, man, in the country right
What's
now.
What's up, fellas? What's up? Good to see y'all again.
Yeah, man, good to see you too, man. So we're gonna get right into it. Rob, where you from, man? Where'd you grow up?
I've been out in Vegas since 2006, but I'm originally from Annapolis, Maryland.
Okay, that's what's up, man. So when did you move to Vegas?
2006. I was in I was in Baltimore from like 2002 to 2006, and then I got out here that year in April officially. I came out in January, looked around a little bit, and then realized, I need to go back home and get a little bit of my paperwork straight for my certifications and all that. Then I came back for good in April.
So you brought the snow to Vegas right now.
Right, it's crazy right now.
Because what's going on in Vegas
crazy,
right now? We
man.
Snow
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm past the part of saying that it's not cold. Like, I took great pride in teasing my normal Vegas residents, right, when they was whining it was cold. And I used to think it was cool to say, if you can't see your breath, it's not cold. Right? And they would look at me like, I was crazy, right? No, it's cold for real.
No, and I think your blood gets thin too.
No, I mean it doesn't, but this is genuinely cold.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So that's good, man. So you moved out to Vegas. We know a lot about Rob Brown Fitness.
If you can't see this dude, he's jacked.
Yeah, just look up his website and
check him
you'll
out.
be
RobBrownFitness.com.
Yep, look it up. And so what motivates you, man? What got you into fitness and doing the whole nine?
It's kind of funny. I guess it was like a natural progression because I was an athlete growing up. And I had a good friend, Mike Alexander, who's also, I think, one of the best spin instructors in the Valley.
He's here. He's in Vegas.
Yeah, he's in Vegas as well. And he just, kind of took me into the gym. He was a trainer at the time. I learned a lot from him. I was always interested in bodybuilding and stuff like that, working out. And I was actually a fiber optic engineer. And I was doing well, traveling all over the country and all over the world, various assignments. But then when 9/11 happened, the planes hit the towers, and then everything changed. The science and technology stuff started giving away, and then the country kind of focused more on war and defense. Yep. So the money sort of dried up, and then, I had all this time to sit back and think, what did I want to do from there? And fitness was always, really like my first love. So I decided to go ahead and try and make a living at it.
So your first love, we've always been interested in health and fitness, or is it kind of
pretty much since I was 19? I was a little skinny dude. We had that talk. I can't get people to.
We need pictures, man. We need pictures. We need to see those, man. Because I can't believe
funny,
it.
I brought you one this
time.
time.
I need that one, man.
Yeah,
I'll be surprised.
I can prove it.
I need motivation for myself.
This one will motivate you.
Okay,
it's definitely. I was a skinny guy, so it's just like everything else. You had this image. In this country, like, I guess you have to measure up to, and I felt like I wanted to, get to that level. So, I started working out, and I always loved it, like learning how to eat, and it's different than it is now. Now you got smartphones and apps and Google and all this stuff. It's so much more information. But back then, you essentially had to find somebody who knew and learn from them.
Yep.
So, I just kept doing it, kept reading. Back then it was like Muscle and Fitness, right? You ain't really had an internet. I mean, the internet was there, but it was obviously early in its infancy.
That's true.
In its infancy, so it wasn't really like all the resources you have now. Now, I mean, you could just throw a stone and hit fitness information now.
It's unbelievable. Yeah.
It's amazing. So I just felt like it was, something I was always interested in. And then by the time I got into it by the time I started, being sort of like like an amateur in fitness myself, till the time I started doing it as a career, it had changed.
Okay.
It had evolved. And so the role of personal trainers, had become more prominent than it was, because originally it wasn't really a lot of personal trainers. And then it became an actual profession. And it was like a $10 billion a year industry. So,
just health and wellness in general. Right?
So at the time that I got into it, it was one of the most emerging professions. So I thought, I wanted to do something that I liked doing. And I don't really like being, stuck in the office all day. And, the corporate game never really worked out, So I was like, the freedom that it gives me, and, I'm definitely turned on by the idea of, you have a good idea, you put it into play,
Yep.
and then you reap the benefits from it, or you can fail. I'm actually turned on by that too, because you're going to definitely stumble,
Yep.
starting a small business.
So right now, how much time do you spend exercise training weekly compared to what you used to do when you first started?
I mean, essentially, I'm definitely more focused. As I've gotten older, I've cut out, a lot of the distractions in my life. It's like I'm in my 40s, so I don't have to balance it between like a nightlife and all that like I did before. So, I'm definitely a lot more focused on it. It's really all I do.
Yeah.
It's like from the time I wake up till the time I go to sleep, pretty much most of my thoughts, because it's the way that I support myself and, anybody that I'm associated with.
It's your brand. Yeah,
Right.
It's your brand. And that, not even to cut you off, that was when I first met you a few years back, that's one of the first things I said, man, this dude is super positive. His energy's right. And I'm like, damn, I said, what do you do? Remember I asked him, like, yo, what do you do, man?
Right.
Because you obviously in shape. I didn't know what you did, but it was cool to see your walking brand of you match Rob Brown Fitness. If
Right.
That makes sense. So,
and that was what, got me into it was I thought, this is what I really like.
Yeah.
And, by emerging as, at one point in time, it was probably like the fastest growing industry. And it still is now, even though it's definitely risen. So I thought it was, a good idea to go give it a shot. And I'm still doing it. So
that's excellent, man.
Do you think it's like an addiction almost?
I don't think so. I think it's just more like a passion.
A passion.
Okay.
Right. It's like, I guess in some respects it is an addiction, but I think that addiction carries a stigma of something that I couldn't not do.
Yeah.
I mean, like I've already realized one day I am going to walk away from it. Like, I'm going back to school and I'm already at this point looking at the end of my career as far as like, training people on a day-to-day basis.
Sure.
I'm trying to decide, if I want to go into something completely different or if I just want to, maybe step my game up. So, I'm definitely not addicted to it. I'm looking forward to what I'm doing next.
Don't you think that's motive? Like, obviously you're in ridiculous shape. You see your website, you see you, just in person. Like when you see it's addicting, like because it's motivating, them endorphins kick in. You look at yourself, you see how good a shape you in with the abs and the whole nine. You don't think it's like addicting when you see yourself and you're like, man, I look good. You know what I mean?
Not at all. Honestly,
Okay.
man, that's usually the least of my concern. I think
Okay.
what's addictive is when my clients feel like that.
Yeah.
There you go.
You know
there
what I'm
you
saying?
Go.
Like I'm so far past myself now. I'm almost on autopilot.
There you go.
As far as I'm concerned, but like I got a client right now over 500 pounds, and it's to the
Man.
point where we can't even weigh him.
Man.
Because
Yeah,
like
that's
your
wild.
average scale doesn't even go that high. But seeing him come in every week, losing inches, losing weight,
That's powerful.
moving better. And, this guy has, a young son, 6 months old. And so, looking at his motivation, he wants to be able to run with his son. And, for a big guy, man, he's got good feet and he moves. So I'm addicted to that battle that I went through. Because everybody comes into the fitness game the same way. We all bums.
You think so? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Like very few people are born just jacked up.
Yeah.
Like if you look, like I've seen pictures of Jay Cutler when he first started.
Yeah.
And a lot of these guys, like everybody has that commonality where they was either a fat person who wanted to lose weight or they were a skinny person who wanted to bulk up.
Got it.
There are some people who just was always blessed genetically from the beginning. But the vast majority of, people in the fitness game are people who came from the outside and then worked their way to respectability.
Got it.
Right? So whenever you come to me, I put myself in that position, right? Because I was that person.
Yeah.
And so it's very easy to me relate to people when they call me. Like I have a client right now named Jeff, and when he came to me, he had this look in his eye, like, man, all I need is somebody to point me in the right direction and I'm ready to go. One of my best friends, Dan, he came to me one day and he had that look in his eye. And so, I can show you pictures, of some of these stories and these turnarounds that people make. I'm addicted to that.
That's cool, man.
Because
that's really cool.
that like validates what you do as a person, right?
Sure,
So like whatever you do, like, I mean, you could be a brain surgeon, or do you want to be like Ben Carson and separate two people's heads and then they can go home and still play Xbox later? Like, that's a different kind of doctor, right?
You like helping people. Like, what's the best diet and exercise advice that you've received, and what would you like want to give to people just trying to start out and make changes for themselves?
That's a tough one. I wouldn't say that there was ever any one piece of information that was like better than all others. I have learned from so many people, over the years, and I think anytime what goes on in the fitness game is more than just what you can find in a textbook. There's a theoretical approach to everything, but then there's also a human element to it as well. And so, for what is recognized as the right way to do, there's always, little variations of that. And so, like, I've had old timers walk up to me in the gym and say, "Man, you look like I used to look back in the day." He was like, "Come here, let me show you something." And they'll show you like a different hand placement or a different foot placement. You'd be like, "Wow, that's not in any textbook or whatever." Like experience like brings you those things. So
just like getting out there and doing it kind of deal?
I think so, but I think, the best piece of advice probably that I was ever given was, a older bodybuilder told me one time, don't compare yourself to other people.
Okay.
And I tell my clients that all the time too. Everyone is different.
It's
right?
easy, but it's easy not, easy.
It's hard not to.
Yeah, it's hard not to do it because if you're in the gym and you in, whether it's LVAC or wherever you're at, Anytime Fitness or wherever the place is, you see all these amazing people, in Vegas, and it's hard not to compare yourself to them. You know what I mean? How do you keep people on that? You know what I mean? On that focus.
I think it takes a lot of work. It's like usually how I get them to stop doing that is by empowering them, because generally you place too much emphasis on the success that others have had around you to the point where you stop visualizing yourself being successful, right? So, what I always try to tell them is, look, put all these distractions out your mind. This is just about you.
That's good.
And then, I try to empower them, because when you spend in time trying to measure up to other people, you're not going to be focused on the things that's necessary for you to be successful.
That's right.
Right? So, like, you see trainers on, like, The Biggest Loser, and they, like, berating their clients and belittling them and putting them down and all that. I personally don't think that works at all.
Yep.
Like, I can't think of any of my clients that I could put down and they would respond.
That's
to
a
that,
positive.
Right?
Yeah.
No, now challenging them is a little bit different.
Yep.
And if they come in and they're not giving their full effort, then I will most definitely call that out. But it's even, ways that you do that as well. But I think that's probably the biggest mistake that you can make is comparing yourself to people around you, because first of all, maybe that cat next to you in the gym, he's been working for 10 years.
Yeah.
Right. And so, what I try to do is get them to get in a rhythm, right? So what you have to do is you have to have all the elements working. You have to have a very solid nutritional approach, because that's
how important is that?
That's 80% of the game.
Dang.
80
you help with that too?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, you can't be a like, I start there.
Oh, really?
Because the working out is the easy part. Like, most people think that's the hard part, but 80% of fitness is, what you eat, whether you paleo, whether you vegan or keto, which I'm not a big fan of. But
keto's popping right now, though.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. Yeah.
But so something's always popping every 5 minutes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, of course.
It's excuse me, like, people like to say keto. I don't even think they know what it actually really means. If applied right, it can definitely achieve the goal, but there's, so many different roads you can go down with that. There's a lot of ways that you can mess that up, right? So, what I believe is, so you get the nutritional strategy, you get that locked down. And a lot of times where people make mistakes with that is they think, well, just because I'm eating salad that I'm going to win. But there's what you call macronutrients, right? So you have protein, carbs, and then there's healthy fats, right? And there's a certain ratio of those based on, like, your age, your sex, your activity level, and then also your goals, right? And then there's a certain amount of calories and how those calories are distributed between protein, fats, and carbohydrates for each person, and then your goals. And so once you get that matched up, Then you have to have a training strategy to support your goals, because if you want to slim down, then you would have a different strategy than you would have if you wanted to build up.
Got it.
So once you sit down and you narrow all of that down and you get the blueprint down, then what you need to do is focus on the process, right? You hear people saying trust the process all the time. I've been saying that for the last decade, because let's say you come to me and it's going to take you 6 months to a year to even get close to where you want to be, right? People say, 6 months to a year. Like, we live in a society where everybody wants everything quick.
Microwave. Everything's microwave.
Right. Like Postmates, like bring it to me in 20 minutes, right? Well, this doesn't work that way. And what I always tell people is that time's going to pass anyway, right? If you're lucky and you stay alive, then 6 months to a year is going to pass anyway. So the question is, will you be where you want to be eventually? You have a journey of 1,000 miles. I mean, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with the one single step, right?
That's a good analogy.
So, what I always tell them is the time's going to pass anyway. So, you have to have a program with all of those elements involved in it. And then eventually you will get what you want. But it's going to take some patience. And it's going to take hard work. And if you're sitting there looking at the guy who's already been down the road that you can walk down,
you don't know.
It'll discourage you.
That's true. What's your take on dietary supplements? Do you think those are a big piece, or they help with?
Absolutely. Like, supplementation is definitely the key for everybody, right? Okay. Because as you get older, there are certain things that naturally occur in your body that you start producing less of, right? And so, and then. A lot of the drawback to it is there's a lot of extreme supplementation, right? Like, I'm not a big fan of a lot of chemical based products that just like jack you up and have you jittery and while you're working out and all that. Like, extreme blow open your dilate your blood vessels and all that. Like, a lot of guys use that stuff.
Dangerous though, man.
I believe so. And
like, what are your go-tos? Do you have like some that you?
I usually only use like the basics, like branch chain amino acids. I make sure my amino acids are balanced. I like to use glutamine. Sometimes I use like CLA. Collagen to help repair
knees and stuff.
Knees and connective tissue and stuff like that. And usually just the basics. If I'm trying to cut up, maybe I might use a little carnitine or like MCT oil. MCT is medium chain triglycerides.
Okay.
Stuff like that to help facilitate like a thermogenic effect if I'm trying to sort of slim down. But I don't really use like extreme things.
Do you do like protein and creatine? Like those?
No, I don't use creatine. I think I might have poked around with that like back in the 90s, but it has some drawbacks to it. Like, when I lived overseas, it was actually banned in France because it has like some carcinogenic effects to it.
Oh, really?
Gotcha.
Yeah, like it was illegal in France and like Belgium when I was over there.
I was always scared of creatine.
It's funny, it always seemed a little sketchy.
Took it. Yeah, I never took it
creatine
before.
exists in your body right now.
Okay.
So there are, and that's also, what a personal trainer will do. Like, there's different ways that your body powers specific movements, right? And so like the phosphagen system is usually used in things like weight training or like 100-yard dash. It will supply a short burst of energy, right? And so what happens is at that point you burn in what's called adenosine triphosphate, which is adenosine diphosphate and a molecule of creatine phosphate, which is naturally floating around in your body. So what your body does is put that molecule of CP with the ADP and it becomes ATP. And so it cracks that open and uses the heat from that. That's why, like, let's say you can go 10 to 12 reps and then you burn out. Or you run
like
100,
shocking your body.
Right, or you run 100-yard dash and you have to stop. Now you could wait a couple of minutes because it'll replenish itself to a certain level, but it'll never go back up to 100. That's why towards the end of the workout you're tired. So that's why people would supplement with creatine, because it would help that. It would help those stores, rejuvenate themselves and you would recover for the next workout. Me personally, I just, we'll put a little water in your muscles and give you a pump. But, I prefer to coach my clients to get their nutrients from whole foods.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like you see people in the morning, like I be going to the gym and I might be grabbing a black iced coffee, and then there's some guy in there grabbing 2 Monsters. And
All that sugar is just ridiculous.
Right. He's going to pour a scoop of pre-workout in that, shake it up and drink it, and that's going to be his energy. Mine was probably like a whole egg, 6 or 7 egg whites, some oatmeal, and maybe a little avocado.
Okay.
So that's my pre-workout. You know, I like having natural, whole food and
But you still
energy.
drinking coffee? That was actually what I was going to ask you. You still drinking coffee or whatever, or tea?
I usually will drink black because, you know, that'll definitely get you going in the morning. And,
Okay.
you know, black coffee is more likely to encourage, like, thermogenesis. So, you know,
I gotta get away
body
from
fat.
cream, man.
Yeah, the
I
creamer's
drink
bad.
coffee and I put too much cream.
What about almond creamer?
It's not dairy. I don't drink dairy. So
At all?
Sometimes if I put anything in it, it might be almond milk.
Oh,
Okay.
So I'm going to say it's better than half and half for sure.
Oh,
I
yeah.
be tearing. I tear that.
Hey, you
But
got
see,
switched
but
almond milk.
look,
Yeah,
let me-
I have almond milk too with
But let me
cereal
make this
stuff,
point
but-
too.
Yep.
Like, you don't have to be extreme.
Yep.
And that's the thing that people think. They think if they eat a cheeseburger and fries once in a while, that
Remember
ooh,
when I met you? When I saw you drinking soda, I was so shocked. I was
that
like, what
when
the
we
heck?
sat
Yeah, I
down,
was
you
like,
know
what?
what?
The world are you drinking?
I was
Never-
like, you know what?
was
Give
so
me one of
shocked.
them little sodas. It was in the summertime.
Yep.
And I basically drank 4 ounces.
And
You're
Paki's
not
still
tri-
tripping about
Yeah, I
that.
couldn't believe it because I
Pac flipped out.
Yeah,
Like,
because
oh
I
my
literally was
God.
like, "Yo, you drink soda?"
They're
Like,
gonna take. They're gonna take your license
Yeah,
away for
I
this,
couldn't
right?
believe it.
He made me feel bad. I was like, okay, can I get like some alkaline water then?
Well, then I ended up seeing Mayweather after that too. I was like, "Damn!" I thought I didn't think I would have
You
thought
know
you
why I
would drink all
did
that
that?
sugar. Yeah.
Because you would never see a Coke in my refrigerator.
Got it.
So
It's like a
Got it.
dessert.
right.
Yeah.
So when
Yeah.
he took me
I
into
started
the
laughing.
master,
Yeah.
and they had all of them drinks sitting there, I'm like, give me that.
Yeah, I started laughing like, "What the heck?"
Yeah,
So-
that was
funny.
that. But the mistake that people make is thinking that you have to eat super 100% clean all the time, and that's not true. The people,
like that.
The
I like how
people,
you're saying
the
that,
people
yeah.
who do that, and that's also why people don't get in shape because they think, oh, I can't completely convert to this bodybuilder lifestyle.
Yeah.
It's
It's a lifestyle change, man.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
but a health and wellness lifestyle is not the same as bodybuilding, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I think people put those two things together and they think that, you know, I'm gonna have to get on stage and like do all this stuff. It's not like that. If you choose to go that route,
Yeah.
then at that point there will be some extreme dieting and things that you'll do for that. But just to live a normal, healthy lifestyle,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, mix some chicken and broccoli in with your cheeseburger.
Yeah.
You know, and like only have it, you know, a couple times a month. It's like everything in moderation. So if you have 1 shot and a beer, you having a good night. But 3 shots and 2 beers, and you might be a DUI waiting to happen. It's just
That's why I like
you
how
know,
your
right.
mindset on
And
that.
So you,
Yep.
you have to find balance because you have to look at, you know, who you trying to be. If you're a 55-year-old guy, semi-retired, you just want to make sure that the next 25, 30 years of your life
Is
is
right.
productive
Yep.
and you know that you can be active and enjoy yourself. But you don't have to just eat chicken and broccoli and lettuce wraps all
Every
the time.
day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you just need balance.
I like that. Yeah. So we love you know, we definitely support Rob Brown Fitness. And then what's been some of the obstacles with building that just because it's so competitive in the fitness industry? And it seems like Chris and I were talking about it too. It seems like the West Coast, like with California, you know, Vegas, Arizona, is so big and
Trying
on
to be
the-
healthy.
Yeah, on the healthy and the franchises and all these, you know, I can't remember all the names, but you got all the different fitness, you know, places. Everything's so competitive. So what's some of the obstacles on you and your company?
You know, they keep changing. And I think right now, one of the biggest obstacles, one of the biggest gifts and curses is technology. Because, okay, now you can get your name out faster. You can reach target audiences a lot faster. But at the same time,
Direct to consumer, man. It's
right,
direct to
right.
consumer.
It's a lot. It's so many different resources now to connect with people. At one point, it was like word of mouth was the best way, right? And people would just say, "Hey, I got a great trainer." But now, with you know Google and some of their business services, right now, while I'm talking to you, somebody is being exposed to my website and being exposed to my marketing strategies and things like that. And that can be a gift. But at the same time, what you have is a lot of these fitness apps,
Sure.
where it's like,
Do you have a fitness app?
absolutely.
Oh, you do? Okay, I didn't know that. Okay.
I have a fitness app.
What was the name of it?
Well, it's actually my name, Rob Brown Fitness Online.
Okay.
And if you go to my website, You know, my products are there, and then you could also just message me through my website, and then I can, you know, discuss, you know, with you what you want.
Plans and the whole nine.
I have self-contained programs like a 12-week program designed to put muscle on you, or it can be ongoing where every week I'm constantly changing it up. So, you know,
That's good.
I definitely have that. But the thing is, you have like Tom Brady has an app.
Oh yeah.
So for
So
like
you're
$29,
with-
so
yeah.
$29.99, and you getting Tom Brady's workouts, and they're probably no different than mine. You know, and as a matter of fact, I bought like a week trial and took a look at it. You know, the
Did
stuff.
you check out Tom
Yeah,
Brady's?
I checked. Of course, I checked
He's
his out.
You got to give him his credit, though, man. He's special.
Oh yeah, he's a good. He knows what he's doing.
I can't take nothing away from the guy.
40-something years old and just being able to
That's
work
the
out
GOAT.
the ways. Yeah,
You know
for
what
real.
I mean? 6th-round draft choice. Yeah, Tom Brady's definitely an extraordinary individual for sure, but I don't really need him competing with me.
There you go. I was going to say, trying to take
if I
up the
can
market.
help it. So I think technology is making it. Now you have I saw they have some mirror where you turn it on and it's like the Peloton bike, right? But it's the mirror now. So it's
Got
like
it.
all of these trainers that you can be exposed to, celebrity trainers and stuff like that. So that's going to stop people from coming in the gyms. That's going to stop people from looking for people
home
like me.
fitness, yes, home fitness.
And the only thing that I think balances it out is the market can withstand all of these things, but at some point it's going to come to a tipping point where, you know, you're going to be able to do it at home. You know, there's so many, you know, home options.
Virtuality stuff what Chris is talking about. Yeah.
People with bigger budgets than me, you know,
Sure.
who can just drown out my marketing and
Sure.
stuff like that. So I think that that's probably one of the biggest obstacles, but it brings me back to, you know, my business model, which is to provide a service that could compete for what's left of the market once you get, you know, with what's left.
Sure.
With the apps and all of these options you have, there's still tons and tons of people looking for it in your
Especially
face.
in Vegas, too,
Yeah,
man.
that's what I was going to ask me. Like,
Anywhere.
What's your biggest strengths, and what separates you from you know, these apps or other people doing what you're doing?
Honestly, I will let, you know, what my clients say answer that question, and it's the personalization to my service.
Yeah, that's
right?
what the apps can never do.
Yeah, apps definitely cannot do that. Like, you know, the care that I put into it and the relationship that I have with past and current clients is the reason why they keep coming back. You know, it's like I told you, like the empowerment aspect of it, right? Because not everybody believes that they can be successful. And, you know, people come to you, they've already tried 10, 15 different things, you know, 10, 15 different things. And so this could be the one, you know, last time to get it right. So I put a lot of myself into each one of my clients, and they can tell that. So I think that's probably my greatest strength, because there's a lot of tremendous personal trainers. Right?
Sure, yeah.
But, you know, I see some trainers who, when you're training with them, it's like you in a mortuary home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And no
what I'm
energy.
saying?
Yeah.
And with me, I'm gonna make it fun, because you come in at 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm already
Your
bouncing
energy's
off the
right.
walls, and you know, I bring a lot of energy to it. And you know, there's lots of personal trainers, but they all aren't good.
Yeah.
You know, they may know how to do it, but can they make you want to come in on the days that you don't want to come in?
When we were talking off air, we were talking about Jeff Bezos and Zuckerberg, and I remember, I can't remember, me and you talked about it before, when Bill Gates, I think I heard it about around 2000, 2001, when he was talking about high tech, high touch, and it's the technology where you transition. You always have to have the technology, but the high touch is what you're
personalization.
doing. The personalization, the organic setup, and I think that's why you're continuing to be successful in Vegas, is because you know how to talk to people, you know how to build that relationship, keep them motivated,
And you have a likable character.
Yeah, you're
for
likable
personal.
dude, man.
That I think all of those things definitely make you better at business.
Yeah.
You know, because this person, it's a very intimate situation.
I
You
agree,
know, somebody buys 12 sessions a month. I mean, think you don't really spend 12 hours with very
A
many
lot of people, man.
Yeah, right.
like
100%
coworkers
Yep.
and family members,
You're
right?
100%
So,
right,
you know,
yeah.
somehow I'm somewhere in between the two.
Sure.
So, you know, sometimes you're part therapist, you know, you have to listen
Yeah.
because, you know, I listen to what my clients say, because it gives me keys as to what drives them and what buttons to push and to motivate them.
Yeah.
And also I think one of my strengths is the kind of results that I turn in.
That's good.
Yeah.
And my rates are definitely a little lower than what some trainers are charging, and I just believe that if you make it reasonable, you know, I have a number that I'm definitely trying to hit for sure. But if you make it reasonable, then they can stay long enough to get the results.
That's what's up, man.
And they'll speak for themselves. That's marketing in its own.
Absolutely.
100%. What do you do for fun in Vegas, man?
Yeah, it
Just
sounds
to
like you
switch
work
it.
a lot.
Yeah,
I'm
because you
curious.
work a lot, man. So what do you do for fun in Vegas, man? I mean, it's
Relax.
there you go. Yeah.
I'm to the age now where relaxing is the most fun thing in the world.
And what is that, like reading, watching
do.
TV? Just...
No, just being straight lazy.
I ain't mad at you, man.
I'm not
'cause you
gonna
working by
lie,
yourself,
man. It's a track meet from Monday morning,
Yeah.
and this is like my high season. So,
Okay.
you know, Saturday mornings I try to keep, you know, a full weekend.
Sure.
Because Sunday goes by quick and you right back at it. And, you know, part of the equation is nutrition. You know, to be successful in fitness is nutrition, exercise, and rest. Rest is part of the equation.
everything.
Yeah.
You know, if you try to light a match in a room with no oxygen, it's
It's a
not
wrap.
going to happen,
Yeah.
right? Because that's part of the equation. So you can't take rest out of it. So for me on the weekends, I'm trying to relax. You know, it's like I want.
That's good to hear, man, because you see social media and everything. Everybody's go,
Yeah.
right?
You never see them sit.
And I'm glad you said that. With you got to have that time to kind of get your mind right.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
So and one of the things we always like to try to ask people with Vegas, because we're so spoiled. What's your favorite restaurant in Vegas? Because I know you wrestle a lot. So
See,
with eating and
you're
everything,
gonna get me in trouble, right?
Yeah.
Because
we need to
when
know.
I answer this question, it's going to be clear
Okay.
that sometimes I eat stuff I'm not supposed
There
to
you
be
go.
eating.
Okay.
Right? I would probably say my hands down favorite would probably be like Fleming's.
Okay. Just stay.
You know, somewhere
I've never
like,
been there. I gotta check
Yeah,
that out.
somewhere
Good.
like
Yeah,
Fleming's.
Fleming's.
Is
I
that
mean,
a chain?
it's
Technically, they got two here.
yeah.
right?
There's two.
Yeah.
It's not like Outback.
No, is it
It's still
nationwide though?
high-end.
It's not Morton. it's not
You know, I think
Morton's
it is,
either.
Actually.
Is
That's
it
a
nation-
franchise. Yeah, it's definitely a franchise. I think they bought
No,
something.
that's a high-end
But
steakhouse,
you
though.
could say you could say Fleming's, Ruth Chris.
Okay.
But I'm just saying Fleming's because it was the.
What
it
about
was,
like a local spot?
But now I'm getting to that.
Oh,
right?
yeah,
I'm ready to
yeah,
come
yeah,
clean.
yeah.
I'm ready to come clean. Right. Hash House a Go Go.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I do love that spot.
Damn, you eat hash.
That's a
See?
lot of
We were
food.
supposed to go
See
there.
what I tell
know
you?
what? I'm gonna tell you why.
Hockey the fitness
No,
police, man.
look.
Always
Listen,
bust
Because
me out.
it surprises me and it gets me excited because you make me feel good that I can eat that.
Oh,
because you
misery
were supposed to go
loves
to Hash
company.
House. No, look. I made a lifestyle change about 2 years ago, and I was always working out and everything. But we still, one of the things me and my wife and my kids we like doing is checking out different restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
But I was supposed to go to Hash House a Go Go this past weekend. And my wife, I'm gonna put you on blast. She was like, "No, we ain't doing that."
You ever been there?
Yeah, I've been
Oh,
there
yeah,
plenty of
that's
times.
good.
But
Yeah.
Plenty
see,
of times.
man, I'm gonna be honest.
I'm glad you
I'm
said
not
that.
gonna put
Yeah.
my boy on blast.
Uh-huh.
But one of my boys, a championship bodybuilder. When we
Word.
meet out, we only get a chance to probably do it. Like
I'm glad
once
you
a
said
year.
that. Yep.
We meet at Hash House, and you know what's funny is some of the coldest bodybuilders I know
Are there?
will come to my house with 2 burgers from In-N-Out.
Yeah,
That's funny.
And just smash it.
because they can eat it. It burns off so quick, and those
When you
machines.
understand the way the body works, you can get away with certain things. You know, like if you was gonna eat something with sugar after a workout would probably be the best time to do it.
Okay.
You know, so it's or like after a leg day, you know, guys have their own personal philosophies.
Gotcha.
I just eat clean enough to the point where when I want to cheat, I cheat.
I got you, man. I like it.
So I could
Yep.
go a whole month on point.
Mm-hmm.
And then I could have a couple of meals in the same week that aren't particularly ideal. But then again, I'm not the type. Okay, so like I might get a burger and fries, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't get fries with a bunch of cheese and bacon on them.
Just getting fries. Yeah.
I don't get potato skins loaded.
Yeah.
You know, it's a limit to certain
Don't
things,
overdo it.
right?
Sure,
right.
sure.
You know, okay, so I went chicken and waffles, right? Okay,
Yeah.
great. I'm gonna work that off tomorrow, but I don't go and get like big decadent chocolate cakes with like chocolate sauce
Yeah.
and chips and like if I eat a piece of cake, it's like a pound cake,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
I don't really
Can't
like
go wrong with pound
I don't
cake,
really
man.
like
Yeah.
rich,
Too
you
much
know,
stuff,
like stuff with stuff oozing out of it and all that. So like, you know, to me, when I go to Hash House, usually it's going to be a burger and fries.
That's what's
So I'm getting some sodium, maybe some grease from the burger, and the burger might have a little fat in it, but you know,
you work it out.
Other than that, and then I'm gonna get iced tea unsweetened with lemon.
That's what's
you
up,
know.
man.
So it's all in moderation, but. Just because you eat a bad meal, that's the the biggest misconception is that you can't have any fun food,
Yep.
right? But the key is people use food as the wrong kind of tool, right? So like with me, I use food as a tool. So, I try to stay energetic. You eat the right kind of food, like lots of leafy greens and like spinach, salads. I go organic because I don't want those chemicals in my body. That's huge too.
There you go.
Like organic used to be too expensive at first, but now it's really accessible.
It's way reasonable, yeah.
It's way more reasonable now. Like you can go in Sprouts, and the things that have the most pesticides sprayed on them, believe it or not, is strawberries and spinach, right? And so
That has the most?
The most.
Man, you just messed me up.
Strawberries
Because I
and
eat spinach like literally multiple times
I'm gonna tell you right now, get organic, because the stuff they spraying on. I mean, there's this one thing that the current administration reversed the previous administration's ban of this particular pesticide, right? And they said like it is so horrible. There's no way you spraying this on food that humans are going to be consuming, right? Like everybody always like talks about deregulation.
Yeah.
Well, what that deregulation means is some rich person is going to have less rules to follow how they make their money. So if I make more money by poisoning you, they deregulated that, so I can get away with it. You think that guy's going to go? You think the guy's going to say, "Oh, I'm going to make $500 million because I don't want to give these kids like leukemia"? No, he's going to light you
You
up.
can tell all these water crises that don't matter.
That's crazy.
Right. So you definitely want to go organic, but if you balanced and you eating the right stuff, you can get away with a little cheating. And
I like your mindset on how you doing that.
It's just the truth.
Yeah, that's good, man. So we got kind of a final kind of two-part question that we got for you. So the first part of it is what's some of your personal goals, and the second part of it is where do you see Rob Brown Fitness in the next 5 years?
That's a good question. My personal goals is I definitely want to keep getting better at what I'm doing. I'm not the best. Everybody say I'm the best personal trainer. I don't think anyone is the best. Just like there really is no best rapper. There's lots of good ones, and then there's some ones that are not so good.
Yeah.
And on any given day, anybody can be the best. I want to keep evolving as a trainer because fitness is always evolving. So that's the challenge, is to stay current. And sort of stay ahead of trends and things like that. So there's some other things I want to do. I think I'm gonna focus more on like high performance and athletes over the next year.
There you go.
So I went back for some certifications. I'm taking a pretty major one right now that'll make me more of a performance enhancement specialist.
Okay.
And I think I like to work more with athletes in high performance as opposed to like general everyday fitness like I've been doing. Like I have athletes, some of which I'm very proud of.
It's nice to have everybody in the city too with the nights and
it's just plenty of that.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to see them when the Raiders coming to the town. So
as far as where I see it going in the next 5 years, the beauty of it is I don't know. Because, I'm going back to school and I'm not sure if I want to go back I have until the fall to figure it out. So I'm thinking about just going back for business administration. So what that does is allow me to either take this business to another level or move into something totally different. I do have a really good business plan, possibly, and some investment interest in it.
There you go.
But I don't know if I really want to own a gym. Yeah. So at this point right now, finishing my degree and deciding what I want to do is that I'm at that stage where, so I'll be 50 in 4 years.
50, yeah.
Right. So at this point in time, I think it's time to look at what my next stage of life is going to be. And I'm not exactly certain if fitness is where my focus will be in the next 5 years.
Gotcha.
In the next 5 years, I could very easily redefine what it is that I'm focused on. But of course, I guess it'll come down to, how I feel. So I'm going to put myself in position with some options.
There you go.
To either be able to, maybe I want to own my own gym. But I think that, owning your own gym means you only really doing that.
Yeah.
It takes.
You really just running the business.
Right. It's like having a puppy.
Sure.
You can never take your mind off it.
Sure.
And I'm not exactly certain that that's the kind of life I want. I definitely like being an entrepreneur. And so I think, a business tightening up, finishing my business degree will
Just enhance it. Yeah.
Once I get, finished, who knows what I might be interested in or what I want to do. I just know for right now, I'm going to continue trying to provide highest, fitness services for all the services that RBF Fitness provides. And I'm definitely enjoying it. But, I'm at a stage in life where eventually I'm going to probably have to figure out what I want to do with the next 20 years of my life. And I'm not exactly certain that this will be it.
But that's exciting, man. That's
I'm
exciting,
looking forward to it. I'm sure whatever you do is going to be successful.
I hope so.
And we're gonna keep a pulse on it, man, especially with Vegas Circle and shouting you out. And then
I appreciate it.
Tell us again where people can find. I know. Shout out your Instagram and all, your website and all that
My
stuff.
website is robbrownfitness.com.
Okay.
And everyone always gets that mixed up. Rob as in Robert.
Got it.
robbrownfitness.com. My Instagram is at robbrown702 fit_trainer.
Okay. And
So
we'll repost that too.
Yeah,
so
that's
you'll be able to know
Rob Brown 702 fit_trainer.
Okay.
And at Fitbox, FITBOKS is my Facebook page.
And what gyms are you at?
Anytime Fitness
Okay.
on Lake Mead and Rampart. And I'm also, helping Kevin Kent with Snap Fitness at Blue Diamond and Cimarron.
Okay.
I also travel to my clients' homes as well.
So you'll do personal game. There we go. Okay.
And then, I have clients as far away as Israel on my app.
That's awesome.
So pretty much I do it all.
That's what's
Awesome,
up, man.
man. Well,
We're going to keep
Rob.
supporting it, man. We're
Yeah,
going to definitely keep
appreciate
supporting it, man. We enjoy having you, man, and being able to hang out with us, man. So we want to thank the listeners for listening to us. And again, you can check us out at thevegascircle.com and, all of our social media. And we'll be reposting this, with your website and everything. So
Sweet.
appreciate
Awesome.
you, man. Thanks.
Yeah,
Thank you, Rob.
For sure.